Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again, midweek Wednesday. Hope you're having a great week so far. We have a jam-packed show, lots of stuff, kind of a mega mosh to get to today. So without any further ado, let's get started right away. Okay, first up, last week we did this beautiful Greenlee auger bit, 7/8 of an inch hole it leaves. It's just a beautiful bit, right? We painted the inside, cleaned it all up, but there was some, what I thought was weld splatter or spatter on this flute here, which was able to come off. We got it all off, right? However, what I thought was weld spatter, a lot of you came and mentioned in the comments of what it was, which I didn't know. What that was somebody drilled through a live wire. Now, for you, for some of you out there, that was like a no-brainer. But I never did that before. Thank God, knock on wood, never drilled through live wire. So I never had that happen. But that's what happens. It looks just like weld spatter on your bit, and obviously it'll short out the line, and it's quite dangerous, and it's pretty common, more common than you would think, but I didn't know about it. But thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. So that was indeed somebody hit a live wire with this drill bit. By the way, I want to show you what this drill bit looks like when it's moving, now that it's got the red inside. I put this in my beautiful Milwaukee Magnum hole shooter. You do need a high torque bit, but check this out when it moves. Looks almost like a barber pole, doesn't it? Very cool. Next up, a good friend of the show by the name of Joe Parton, who watches the show, and his wife enjoys the show, and she's from Poland, Warsaw, Poland. So a special shout out to her. You know, I'm part Polish and very proud of my my fellow Poles back in Poland, especially how they're keeping their country free from globalization and whatnot. Really proud of him. Anyway, Joe was in Baghdad during 2004, 2005, and this was some of the stuff he sent. He thought might be interesting. You might find it interesting because I have to tell you, when you go overseas during this time, or I was in Desert Storm time, but if you go through any of this, it's mind-blowing, because you look at some of this stuff and you would say, this looks like almost, are you kidding? They actually had this stuff? And it's true, they did. First of all, he was in the 256th Brigade, and this was the fleur-de-lis that was their patch, but he was also with the 1st Cavalry, which was here. So that was identifying patches for their unit. But what's interesting here is, you see this here? They would give you cards like this when you went overseas and whatever, and this looks like, you'd say, it looks like something you would get in a gum, like, you know, with bubble gum, right? This is an Iraqi claims pocket card, and you would carry these, and you would have to give this to somebody if, God forbid, they were, you said, if, you know, they were involved in a liability or death or something like that. You would have to see this, give this card to Iraqi civilian or appropriate person in case of death. So if you shot somebody, you would say, don't worry about it. You fill this out, you give this to them. And the United States, which is great for printing money, we can print money, they would pay off, you know, say, how much is this going to run us? You know, a couple of that, how much? 50, okay, 50 grand. We just print up new money. Anyway, speaking of printing up money, this was some of the, when we had cash sales, things like that. And this was some of the money that you would get, these little cardboard sheets, instead of trying to carry, you're not going to carry American, you're not going to carry Iraqi money. So this was some of the money how you would use in the PX over there. They were little cardboard cutouts, and this would be equivalent to a quarter, it tells you. And on the back it would tell you Iraqi freedom, or they'd always have something. Sometimes they would have on the back little tips and tricks or whatever. And very interesting. Again, 2004. This was also here. Again, this is all from 2004, from when he was stationed over there. You can see over here, this is the first card. This is the Iraqi Security Forces identification card. So if you came across somebody, you would look through here and you could tell their rank, what unit they were part of, things like that, how they usually dressed. So believe it or not, these came in more handy than you would think. because you would see somebody dressed with these weird clothes. You say, well, what are they, security? Who are they? And then you would look on here and you would see. But, you know, it wasn't long before you pretty much were in with somebody that knew everything about it. So very interesting. And one other thing that Joe sent, it's amazing, isn't it, that that stuff is 20 years old already? How time flies, huh? Anyway, Joe sent over this cool Oxwall home auto wrench set. But really, what we used to, my father, I remember when my dad had his toolbox, and we all had our father's toolbox that we used to kind of rummage through or look through. My father had a set of Craftsman ignition wrenches, and they were like, to me, they were so cool because they were like real wrenches, but they were miniature. It's the same with these. And you could see here, these are almost like a stamped wrench here, but they were meant for smaller fasteners. And you can see here, this is 1/4 inch. This one here, 15 64ths. You know, how often do you find that? But when you were building or rebuilding distributors years ago, there was a lot of small little nuts and stuff like that in there. So that's where the ignition wrenches came in handy. But this one here says it's a home, see, it says home auto wrench set. And this one here went up to pretty big. You can see here, this one here, look at the size of that, 7/16. So whether or not, you know, because it's a stamped kind of thing, would you use it on something that was, it was meant mostly for taking apart, putting it back together. But very interesting, right? And this was Oxwall. And one thing about, like I always tell you, I always like vinyl cases. You know, you might laugh and you say, oh, vinyl, because back then vinyl was kind of cheap compared to leather or something, but leather always made your tools rust. Vinyl, as long as you didn't get water in these pockets, okay, as long as water didn't get in there, they held up fantastic. You know, they always protected the tools, and this is really cool. And you can see here, auto, television, radio, appliances, really cool. So Joe, thanks for that. Okay, next up, my good buddy Mike, the fireman from the Long Island 2 Meet. You know Mike. Mike sent me a great video. Mike sends me a lot of videos, cool videos, and he also sends a lot of eBay tools that are crazy priced. We get a kick out of that, joking at how much some of these guys have tools marked up at. But Mike sent me this video, and on this video, this gentleman did a great job of talking about this tub of towels. Okay, now, I used to have these. They were like handy wipes and things like that. You know, the type that you pull up. They were like diaper wipes or hand cleaning wipes. But the problem is I kept them in the car and they always dried out in the car. So I wasn't a big fan. But when I saw this guy's video, this guy says these are fantastic for cleaning tool handles. I was like, uh-oh. So I said to Mike, I ordered this right away. I ordered this. I got it to my house. This was not cheap on Amazon, but I think they're cheaper at Lowe's, but it cost me $14. But I have to tell you something. This is, from what I understand, it's like the best thing for cleaning tool handles. Let's check it out. Okay, first off, as you know, I love these channel locks, but the handles do get dirty after a while. And you can use, and I always said, you know, hand cleaners work great and stuff. But this here, and I took off here, this is the size of the sheet, okay? It's a big sheet. You see that size? It's like a 10 by 12, you know? So it's a big sheet that you get on there, and it's tough. It's not like, you know, the chintzy ones. So here it is. You can see the dirt on this, okay? Can you see that there? The dirt on here? Now, look at this here. And this is working just like it did on that guy's video. I have to tell you something. I was impressed. I'm just as impressed the first time I'm using it. This is fantastic. Better than anything else, even better than hand soap that I've been using and goop and stuff. Look at that. Now, this, first of all, this is pretty wet on here, okay? Secondly, now look at that. That's like brand new. Look at that. The smell. You know I'm big on smells of chemicals, you know? And this smells absolutely fantastic. It's like a citrus orange, which is probably what it is, like a orange cleaner. But here I am doing another one. Again, look at the dirt coming off on this rag, you know. And I'm not letting it sit. Sometimes if you have a real greasy or dirty one, you might want to let it sit for a while, the fluid. But here it is. Look at this. Okay, how nice. This is wiping. I know some of you are probably stopping the video right now and ordering some, because I'm telling you, this is great. This one's real bad, right? This one's really bad. I don't even know if this is going to watch this. You ready? Let's see what happens here. Look at that. It's coming out. Now this is a real old one, and God knows what this has been through over the years. But look how nice this is coming up. And again, if you let it kind of soak on here for a little while, it'll clean up much easier. But I'm doing it just to show you here. So here we are, and you just keep rotating. This rag is big enough that you could rotate it, okay? And there we go. Look at that. All the dirt is off there. Let me finish these up. Okay, you see how nice these came out? Let's try some other ones. This is the same towelette. You know, it's getting a little dirty, but it's still going to work. Here, these rubbery grips. I can't stand the... You know, it reminds me of that Chinese joke, you know? Guy calls up the Chinese restaurant and he says, yeah, my wife's chicken is very rubbery. And the Chinese guy goes, oh, thank you very much. Anyway, so... here we go. We have this one here. This always absorbs the dirt, these types. So I'm going to try it on here and see what it does on this. One thing I don't like about these type of grips. And look at this. It is coming right off. See that? Now, this is starting to foam up a little bit because I guess the liquid on here. But look at how that gets in there and gets all that dirt off. Then what I do is once it's clean, once you have it where you think it's clean enough, you could take this is just a wrung out damp paper towel to just wipe off that orange clean or whatever it is. But look at the before and after on that. See what I mean? This stuff is fun. This is really, I think, the best way to clean your tool handles. What do you think? I have another handle that's always been irking me that I'm going to take and show you in just a minute. There we go. Isn't that nice? That looks almost like brand new again. And I always didn't like these. Now, like I said, you might want to spray something over this because if that cleaner stays on here, it might lift dirt off your hands. So after you clean it, you might want to spray it with some silicone or something like that. I don't know. You have to experiment. Let's try that other tool I was telling you. Here it is. This is my Lennox hand saw, hacksaw, and I love this thing. I love it. It's a great saw. The problem is I always hated these spongy grips because look at that. And that was dirty from the second day I used this thing. So let's try this out and see what it does. I can see right away it's pulling some, look at that. Look at what it's pulling off of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let this soak on here for a second. I'm going to wipe the whole saw down, see how it works, okay? And I'm going to let this soak on here for a second and then give it a good wiping and see how it comes out. Okay, here we go. The handle is back to blue, but I have to tell you something. I don't trust these handles. I think these things, from the day you get them, they start to disintegrate and fall apart. Never liked them. Comfortable, great, but I wouldn't. You'll never have this in 20 years. 20 years, that thing will be cracked up and falling apart. I did a little bit of the front too. But the wipes work great. Look how much dirt this took off the handles. Look at that. Filthy. Isn't that something? Now when you get this, you open it up, you feed it through the middle, and you feed it like this. And then when you pull up one wipe at a time, okay, you see it comes in this little split that you pull like that. You got to make sure you keep this tight. This has to be tight or else this does dry out. And don't leave it in a hot spot. This is what the brand new wipe looks like. And again, it's a large wipe, right? That's a big wipe. Let's try it on. Let's try. Look at this. This is a acetate, one of them fogged up ones, right? Look at that. Sweet. This is just one of those fogged up ones. This thing has always been given. This thing fogs up no matter what you do. But look at that. It even takes the fog off of that acetate handle. We'll wipe it down with a little. Here we go. There we go. What do you think of that? Let's see if there's something else greasy in there. Okay, this is by far my worst handle. This is a Starrett hacksaw. You can see it has a rubber handle, right? Look at that. And this is after using the wipe. What do you think? Before, after. That's something? After. Okay, so like I said, kind of a short one today. We're just cleaning up some things down here. And special thanks to Joe and his wife for that lovely care package today. And what do you think of those wipes? The only hesitancy I have about those wipes is afterwards, I think that whatever that orange cleaner is that's on the wipes, I think you should really take your time to make sure that it's off the tool after you finish. So wiping it down with a damp rag, I think, is a good idea, but works fantastic, huh? Unbelievable. So Mike, thanks for letting me know about them, and hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you again on Friday. Take care now. Bye-bye.